My name is Eddie Shellman, and I've been on the Champaign Fire Department about a year now. In fact, I'm actually finishing up my first year with the department next week. It went by so quick. It was such a interesting year dealing with the pandemic and everything like that. So it felt like the time flew by, but in the moment it kind of felt like time stopped for a minute as well. I had no idea I was going to be in the fire service for probably the first 26 years of my life. So it wasn't even really a thought to me. I wasn't really aware that it was even something I could do. It wasn't until a family friend of mine, he was a firefighter at the time. He came to me one day. He noticed I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was at like a crossroad, and he was like, "Hey man, why don't you give this a try, give this a look, let me know what you think." And he gave me a paper with the job description and application, stuff like that. They're like, "Yeah, cool, whatever, I'll check it out, we'll see what we do." And it sat on the counter for like 2-3 days, and I didn't really think about it. And I walked past, and I'm like, "All right, let me just check this out, give it a look." Looked at the paper, read it, I'm like, okay, cool. Seems like something I might be able to get into. Did a little research, looked up the CPAT. I'm thinking, okay, I can do that for sure. And luckily they had a program here in Champaign actually called the Adult Explorers Program, where they like walk you through the application process and explain the fire service and just give you like a really good like rundown and summary of what it's like. And at that point I was just like, all right, cool, I'm about to give what I got, I'm gonna go all in and see what happens. So I was born in New York, raised in Jersey, lived in New York again after that, and then I moved out here trying to figure out where I wanted to go after that. But before firefighting, I was actually a dancer. Both my parents were ballet dancers. I went a little bit of a different route. That wasn't really my thing. I break, more people know it as break dancing, but I definitely like the acrobatics and spinning and stuff like that, that aspect. So that's what I still do when I have spare times. I know there was one point I saw a paper there, like the top like 10 or 5 most stressful jobs, and they had dancing up there, and they also had firefighter up there. And then I thought it was kind of ironic that I ended up doing like 2 of the top like 3 things that were up there.
You're gonna explore the other jobs and check those off the list too?
Nah, I think I'm good. I think I'm done here with these 2. When I was first in academy, the first couple weeks I was pretty bad. Like I was so bad the instructors were nice to me. Like that's how you know it's getting kind of bad. And I remember the first time I had to don my gear, don my air pack, and it took me like 8 minutes. And like to pass, you had to get 45 seconds, right? So the first time I did it took me like 8 minutes. I was the slowest one in the entire class, and I remember being really upset with myself and like, oh dang, this is not good. I never doubted that I'd be able to do it, but it's just at a point, it's just like, all right, I might be in over my head a little bit. Like you start to second guess yourself. But every night I would go home, do a couple drills just to stay sharp. I wouldn't do anything crazy. I would do maybe like 10 reps of it or something like that, just to try to catch up, because there were a few guys in my class that had no fire experience, but a lot of the other guys had some sort of experience, so I was a little behind. And then everything happened with the pandemic, so we had like a little brief shutdown. And then by the time we got back, we were doing a drill again, donning our packs, and I was the quickest one by far that day when I got back, and I knew I was ready for it. Like when they said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do these drills," I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is good. I've been working on this," and I was definitely standing out in that aspect. And like at that moment, I kind of confirmed with myself, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I belong. Like I'm not in over my head. I'm doing something that I know I can do. First and foremost, I would say do your research. It's a very rewarding profession, but it's also tough. You got to be physically and mentally tough. But like I said, it's very rewarding, and it's a job that requires you to perform at your highest level on somebody's worst possible day. One thing I learned about the fire service is, yes, one mentor is very important, but everybody, at least in my department, I can say everybody has stepped up and helped me in one way or another, and has been a mentor, like a big brother in that aspect. And that is part of what helped get me through the academy and what's helped get me through my first year. I mean, I feel like representation is important just for if you want to achieve something, if you want to be in a certain position. It's very important to see somebody who represents your demographic do the same thing, whether it's race, gender, or whatever it is. It's just important to see somebody there before you. If they see me step off that truck, some clicks in their head and tells them that they can do the same thing, and maybe they'll be better than me, and maybe that'll be the person that saves me one day. Case in point, me, I had never met an African American firefighter in my entire life, and when I did, that's the guy who put forth the opportunity to be where I am now. So if it wasn't for diversity, I wouldn't even be here. And I hope to be that for somebody else, to be remembered as somebody who came through when it was the toughest, somebody who always beat the odds and thrived under pressure. I pride myself in that. I feel like people's true character shows when they're facing times of adversity and how you pull through to that. And some people shy away from it and some people push harder. And I just always want to be remembered as that person that pushed through the adversity and the challenges and succeeded.